Hey guys, King Kaiju here. Today we're going to be doing another Kaiju review. Today's episode is kind of on a weird character in the Ultraman franchise. He is technically a Kaiju, but he more so fits in the category of Ultraman-like characters, although again, he's not an Ultra. That character is Alien Babarue. Probably am butchering that name, but I've never really heard anyone talk about this guy on YouTube or any other platform, so that's what I'm going to go for as the pronunciation. I wasn't too familiar with this guy, but recently I got him in a lot with quite a few other figures, and while he is not the most interesting looking of all of them, he probably is one of the more, I guess, interesting looking human-esque monsters that have come out of the Ultra series. And with that, let's get into the detail of him. So on first glance, this guy kind of looks like an Ultraman knockoff, honestly. Supposedly though, he is part of his own little alien race of creatures that look exactly like this, however. But I would say his design is really cool overall, though. I like a lot of the gold highlights that he has on him. His hair detail is probably where the figure highlights, especially. All the hairs are pretty much individually sculpted in there. It looks really good. And the paint overall also is really nice. It looks very similar to how his suit looks, and I would say overall Bandai did pretty good with it. So detail is very passable. I wouldn't say that it's anything spectacular, but the figure does look really good overall. Now, as for articulation, this is a very unfortunate case. I've never really reviewed any of the Ultra-like figures, but for reference, this is pretty much all of their articulation. Their arms can rotate, both of them, and their waists can rotate. That is literally every single one of these figures. No head articulation, no leg articulation, just arms and waists. It's a big reason why I've never reviewed a bunch of these sorts of figures, because they are very, very basic, especially whenever it comes to articulation, and usually detail too. While this guy has better detail than most of these sorts of monsters, I do think the articulation being as basic as it is doesn't really give the figure any favors. Sizing on him is also fairly basic. There's nothing really to write home about. He looks good next to most characters. For example, this is Ultraman Max. This is a figure that I actually got in this lot. Alien Babarue is a little bit taller than he is, which is roughly accurate. They should be looking each other just about in the eye, but the horns and the hair are mostly why he's taller. Here is another Ultra I got in the same lot. This is Ultraman Mibius. And again, they look really good next to each other. Mibius is a tad bit taller than Max, so I think this one is probably closer to how it is in most shows. Overall, yeah, it just looks really nice. And just for a random what the hell comparison, I happen to have the figure with me at the moment. Here's Babarue. And again, they also look pretty good next to each other. I unfortunately don't have any Ultraman Leo monsters that I know of, and this guy originally appeared in Ultraman Leo, so this is going to have to be the closest comparison I get to any Ultraman Leo monsters. And that's the review of Alien Babarue. As you can tell by this review, there isn't a ton to talk about with this figure, and that kind of applies to all of these Ultraman-esque figures. This video kind of goes to serve why I don't review a ton of them, because there's not a ton to talk about with any of them. If I were to review a figure of Ultraman Max or a figure of Ultraman Mibius, it would basically be me repeating exactly what I said in this one. The detail on them is usually pretty good. It's nothing huge, but you know, it looks like a guy in a suit, so that's okay. The paint is also usually fairly decent, nothing that's ever gonna be too bad. The articulation is incredibly basic. It's always 3 points. I've never seen any one of these figures have more than that. And the sizing is going to be okay. They're all about 6 inches tall, so they're going to scale pretty good next to each other. I mainly just wanted to review this one because it is a very recent figure that I got, and I do think it's a little bit different enough to where I can say it's not an Ultra, and I exclusively do not want to review those guys just because of the fact, again, they're usually very basic. With that being said, thank you all for watching. I hope you got some enjoyment out of this review, and I hope to see you all in the next video. See you soon.